have this like network that other poets can tap into. And so like, it's called Juniper Tree Poetry. And so like, I'd love to like bring on like, my editor, for instance, like she writes some of the best poetry I've ever read in my life. Like this stuff like emotionally moves you, like it will move you to tears. Like I cry reading it. Some of it's like pretty heavy, but it's like really good. And so like, I'm pushing her to like publish a book. And so like, I'd love to like have her come underneath that umbrella and just like have, because I think the big thing is like, self-publishing is lucrative if you're like able to market yourself well, because the thing that like you lack is the network and pushing your book, which like these bigger corporations will help with that, but then they also take a cut of your sales. The nice thing though is like I self-publish through Amazon, and so like it's like Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP, and so they allow me to sell my book on Amazon, and they still let me get a good cut, so I'll get like 60% of the sales and they get to keep 40, which is really good compared to like something I'm going to run into is getting my book in bookstores. And the research I've done, and my editor for this first book, she's like published like 5 collections of poetry and through Amazon as well. And when you approach a bookstore, usually they'll take 60% and give you 40. And if you really know them or can work out a really good deal, like 50-50 is probably the best you can get at a bookstore. But then again, like they are doing all the hard work where they're like showcasing your book, and they're being like, you know, maybe they have like sections like new authors or local authors, and that immediately spotlights your book. My plan is to like, obviously I've got the release party coming out for this book, but actually before the end of the year, I want to do a community night where I have like a list of people, like not even just poets. Like I have a friend who's a screenwriter, I have a friend who like shoots film photography, who actually shot all the photos for this first book, and then actually the guy who designed the cover and the illustrations, he's about to release his first collection of poetry today, which is kind of cool. And then a bunch of other people, but like my whole goal is to like have a community night where I like give all these people the space to like share who they are, share what they're working on, share what they've accomplished, and what to expect and how they can follow along. So that's like a big thing that I haven't planned yet, but it's like in the works, like to happen after the release party before the end of this year. So.
I think that's a good idea. And in the meantime, what do you want people to get out of your current book?
Cool. I've kind of organized it really intentionally for you to go through it, kind of how I drink a cup of coffee really slowly, and it's at a patient pace. So each poem is broken up, 2 stanzas on each page, just so you can like really read through it slowly and really absorb it. A lot of the poems in there, like there's some that are like kind of fun, a little bit more lackadaisical. Like the first one, which I'm actually going to read at the release party, is about going shopping for cheesecake on Valentine's Day, and like not going to the grocery store to buy roses for someone, but just because I want to make cheesecake and I don't have roses to buy for someone. So there's like goofy stuff like that. But yeah, I think sharing kind of my feelings on certain topics and seeing other people resonate with it, I think that's what I like to take from it. And also, I know a lot of people have told me like they're really inspired by me like coming out with 2 books. Like, oh man, like I can do this. And so like I feel like that's the big thing. It's like it took me a lot to release this book, but my editor really pushed me, and a couple other people were like encouraging me, like you can do it, like you've talked about doing this, you've got a lot of poems you've written, you just gotta sit down and organize it and take the time. And like I said, you know, the first one's the hardest, but after the first one, you just get the ball wrong, just keep going.
Sky's the limit, right?
Yeah, exactly. So,
and then in this whole process, like, what are you most grateful for?
I think I'm most grateful for is the time that I got to work with my editor, Molly Fox. She actually just graduated from CU this past semester, and she no longer lives in Colorado, which is really sad. But yeah, it was just cool getting to sit down, because we had talked about having her possibly edit my poems, because like we were like sharing poems back and forth when I was writing this one. And she was really enthusiastic about it, and she honestly is someone that inspires me in many facets of life. outside of writing, like the way she loves people, the way she like is able to listen to people and really like empathize with them, but also just like her as a poet, like even though she hasn't published anything, like I said earlier, like her poems really move people, and I know that if she chooses to publish poetry, like they're gonna move the world. And so just like those days where we would like sit at the tea house and just, you know, go through my poems, read them, pick them apart, argue. I was like, should I change this word? Should I like change, like scrap this whole stanza? Like, do I really need this line? Those are things I'm like really grateful for, especially now like that she doesn't live here anymore. Like, I really look back and have fun with that. So you can buy it on Amazon and just look up Naturally Extravagant by Carlos Fernandes II. You can also purchase my first book, The Be Within Me, on Amazon as well. You can follow me on Instagram at Student of Miles. That's student_of_miles. And then definitely give that poetry collection a follow. It's Juniper Tree Poetry.